Daniel, can I start now?
Just a quick introduction about Patrick. He's an engineer that works on machine learning at Berkeley, and he's here today to tell us about the model hangover. We are very curious about what it is. We didn't know that also machine can be run, but we are curious to hear about from you how they handle the hangover. Patrick, you can go.
Yeah. So hello everyone. As Daniel said, I am Pratik Verma and I'm a data science consultant. And I usually tinker with machine learning models, and when I'm not tinkering with machine learning models, I usually speaking at various conferences or contributing to open source. So today I want to talk about something really close to my heart, which is hangover. But since I personally don't advocate consuming the alcohol, I would rather talk about something more fun, which is the movie. But we all can agree that it wasn't that fun. So let's talk about something more fun, which is training model hangover, which is like really amazing and fun part for us, training model. But what happens after the training model? Almost no one talks about that, because you will find a lot of tutorials regarding how to train your model, how to optimize it, how to get great accuracy for your machine model. But no one tells you how to productionize it, how to deploy it in production, how to integrate it with your current backend. So I want to talk about this today. So as I told you, I'm Pratik Parma, and I'm here to bore you through machine learning. And if you have any question or any suggestion with this regarding this presentation, please shoot me at me. Please contact me at @hackinote on Twitter. Okay, so a lot of time my clients come up to me and say that they want to create an AI DevOps cloud native application on Kubernetes using blockchain that user will experience with a VR headset, and that user will experience with VR and what that's a digital transformation tunnel. Okay, sorry. So digital transformation strategy, and I get around this client a lot. So is it true that how many times we get across this type of clients a lot, and it's not easy to integrate training a model and then integrate it with the backend. So let's just first start about what is AI. So AI is all about computers capable of doing things that, when done by human, would thought require intelligence. So if I see an apple, I can say that it is a red. It contains nutrition. And that task requires intelligence. But when I try achieving an AI using this specific approach called machine learning, where I use machines to find pattern without explicitly programming them to do so. So if I'm creating an apple classifier, so I can show an image to my machine and that which fruit is it. So if I am doing a traditional approach, explicitly programming, then I may try an approach that if that image contains a specific number of red pixel or bit of yellow pixel, then it's an apple. But that's an explicitly programming them. So we find that's a traditional programming approach. But when we feed it just a bunch of data and the output, then it's called machine learning. So I am a huge fan of this series called Silicon Valley, and in that series, in actually third season, that the guy named Jinyan would come up with a good app called Hot Dog or No Hot Dog, which basically classify your image from like, is this image contains a hot dog or not. So let's take an example and create that kind of app. If your client, let's assume that your client requires to create an app like that. So what will be your strategy, and how you will be putting it into production? So most of the time what happens is machine learning guy is sitting in the corner from for a bunch of weeks or months to create a model which has a good and come up with a good accuracy, like 85 to 90% accuracy. And then they will and they will contact their DevOps guys to put into production. But what they and when they pitch it to their manager or CEO, and what they present is just a huge gigantic notebook. This Python, just a, and when a DevOps or developers guy sees that, it's just a bunch of Python syntax with some markdown, and maybe it doesn't make any sense to you that what is going on. And data scientist says that's not my problem, because they have done their work, they got a good accuracy, that model works on their machine. And why it doesn't work in production, and what is the strategy you should use to integrate it to your production pipeline? So when data scientists have done their work, and it's your responsibility to create to put that product, to put that model into production. And how you do that is like, and because your company already announced that they are an AI company, and it's your now responsibility to put that product in products, to put that model into production. And most of the time people mistake ML with AI, and it's DevOps guys' task to put the product in production. So yeah, you see a gigantic Jupyter notebook, and most of the DevOps guys have no clue how this thing work in production, because with like it's just a lot of Python files with markdown. And if you have LAMP or LAMP stack, how the hell you are gonna deploy this thing in the production? So what are the problems I've seen till now in how and some of the problems I even caused during the production? So first problem is CSVs. Most of the data scientists work with CSV files on laptop. So when they are experimenting with machine learning models, they are usually use CSV files on local machine, local laptop, and then they are using it, they are putting that model into production. It usually it is usually not using CSV. It would rather use database or storage. And feature engineering won't scale easily. So feature engineering is means extracting useful information for your machine learning model from your data set. So this is the task which requires an extreme amount of computation power, and it doesn't scale easily in production. Model drift and fragility. So this is when the actual people, human, interact with your model, usually your accuracy, your model's accuracy will get reduced due to the interactions with your humans. And actually the impact and the accuracy is hard to measure in real life. That how your app, how your model is working, how you're doing, how your model is doing in real life, how is working in the world, real world. So okay, so maybe a brief overview of how machine learning lifecycle works will be helpful to you, to how you can integrate it with your current DevOps cycle. So first we start with the data preparation, where we collect the data, then we train our machine learning model on using the machine learning algorithm and the data we collected earlier. Then we deploy it, where the DevOps guys come into picture, and then we again start with the raw data, and we again start the product. Okay, so if we talk about how we get the data, So usually we use a bunch of storage servers like AWS or Hadoop or Kafka. But when we are using a data preparation, we use a bunch of tools like Apache Spark or Python or scikit-learn. When we're training with training our models, it usually use TensorFlow or bunch of machine learning libraries are available in the market. But here is the interesting part: how we deploy. There are only bunch of tools available, and how we can you deploy. So one of the favorite tool I use is Docker. But after coming up with some issue, facing the issues, I given up on that, and I'm trying something different. Okay, so there are also a bunch of custom ML platforms available, which handles end-to-end machine learning cycles, like Facebook FB Learner, Google Michelangelo, or Google TFX, which stands for TensorFlow Extended. But what's the pros? It standardizes the data preparation, training, and deploy cycle. Okay, so on the like a small team, even a small team can handle the whole workflow. But if you work within the platform, you get this. Like if you have to stick with one platform only. But it's limited to few algorithms or frameworks. So if you are using TFX, then you have to stick with the TensorFlow only, or FB Learner, then you have to stick with PyTorch. So here comes in the picture MLflow, where you can train your machine learning model, which can track it, you can deploy it in production, and whenever a data scientist trains your model, it is really easy to integrate the model, because it comes and deploy ready state model, ready state. Okay, so it has mainly three components, which is model training, model tracking, project, and models. So in tracking, we record an experiment. So if a data scientist experiment with a bunch of hyperparameters, is even experimenting with bunch of algorithms, then they can keep a track how they can how things are working, how this accuracy doing. And then also they have projects, and where the, where and actually this is the part of it where you DevOps guys will you will feel it's useful to, because you don't have to deal with that gigantic notebook file, because it actually creates a deploy ready state for your model, and you actually have to just integrate with the pipeline and models. MLflow model, which uh, MLflow actually comes with a bunch of deployment tools, so you can just integrate it with the pipelines. Okay, so keep key tracking, key concepts and tracking. So in parameters are the key value inputs to your code, and these are the things, they are the key concepts we use in machine learning. So matrix is numerical values, so we usually use a bunch of accuracies and a bunch of metrics to use to keep track of how our machine learning models is doing. Artifacts are files, usually large files, which includes models and data sets and sources. So what code run. Okay, so actually time is running up and I have a lot of things to do, but I will try to go fast with the slides. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's visible to you all, but this is the uh, UI for tracking. So you can keep track of how many parameters or how many data sets or how accuracy is doing for your model. Okay, so for this is something very useful to you when you just run code, and if you add the configuration and the data, it will be ready to you for remote execution. So you don't have to worry about how to integrate with your backend. So just add configuration and all things in the configuration file, and you will be ready to go. So just add TensorFlow for machine learning model, Spark or ML for data preparation, and for training app, you can just use scikit-learn, and you will be ready to go with. And MLflow will take care of REST API service or batch or streaming storage using Spark, or inference code using Docker. And if you have any queries, just shoot me a tweet at @HackyRoot. Sorry, I was not able to go in the deep due to shortage time. But if you have any queries, just shoot me a tweet here. And I'm looking for new opportunities for as a data scientist. So if you have any if you are hiring for data scientist position, please let me know. And for the thank you this guy called JD Hancock for this amazing picture you saw from Star Wars. And really, I'm very thankful for you, Thiago, for giving me an explanation to deliver a talk on this amazing topic. So thank you very much.